All right, so the US Open draw has just been released, and we're looking at the men's side of things now, and it's looking pretty interesting. There are some really crazy first-round matchups for the top players, and some interesting clashes down the road as well. Let's go have a look at who's not playing, though, because there are some big names that have pulled out. All right, so the withdrawal list has been updated over the last couple of days because we've got some new players that have pulled out, starting with Hurkacz. He's pulled out, unfortunately. Dimitrov also pulling out. Berrettini's also pulled out. Feast, the highest-ranked player to pull out of the draw. Unfortunately, he's not healthy enough yet. Nishikori also pulling out, and Kyrgios has also withdrawn. Let's go to the top of the draw because there are some really good players playing. All right, top of the draw, we've got 32 seeds. Everybody plays first round. Sinner, number 1 seed, number 1 in the world, defending champion. He takes on Kapriva in the first round, which will be an interesting little matchup. Winner of that match will take on either Popyrin or Ruusuvuori in the second round. Then you got Royer taking on Bu. Winner of that will take on either Fucsovics or the number 27 seed Shapovalov in the second round. Then you got the number 23 seed Bublik taking on Cilic. Winner of that match will take on either Sonigo or Skulkate in the second round. Then you got Borges versus Holt. Winner of that match will take on either Mola or the number 14 seed Paul in the second round. So, look, Sinner's draw is not easy. I don't think it's a cakewalk. But of course, you've got to watch over Sinner, defending champion. Of course, you've got to watch over Paul as well. You've obviously got to watch over Bublik, one of the only guys to beat Sinner in recent times. So definitely got to watch over him. If he does get to play Sinner in the fourth round, it'll be really fun to see. But also be watching over Popyrin. Beat Djokovic here last year and is one of the highest ranked unseeded players. And if he does play Sinner in that second round, that'll be really interesting to see how he does compete against Sinner. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 10 seed Musetti taking on Pirikar. That's a fun first round. Winner of that match will take on either Alice or Goffin in the second round. Then you got Brooksby taking on Vukic. Winner of that will take on either a qualifier or the number 24 seed Kaboli in the second round. Then you got the number 31 seed Diallo taking on Jumher. Winner of that will take on either Munar or a qualifier in the second round. Then you got Bergs versus Zheng. Winner of that will take on either another qualifier or the number 5 seed Draper in the second round. And this is an interesting draw. It feels like this is an open section of the draw because you've got to watch over Draper. Hasn't played since Wimbledon in the singles, so definitely got to keep an eye on his fitness levels for sure early on. Got to watch over Musetti as well. Hasn't been great the last couple of months or last couple of weeks. We haven't seen him really, progressing like he was sort of during the clay season. So we'll see whether or not he can regain some form. Of course, got to watch over Kaboli and Diallo, both very, very dangerous players on the hard courts as well. So they could make a run here, especially considering that the higher seeds haven't been as active. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 3 seed Zverev. He takes on Tabilo in the first round. Winner of that match will take on either Bautista Agut or Fernley in the second round. Then you got Monfils taking on Safiullin. Winner of that will take on either another qualifier or the 25th seed Auger-Aliassime in the second round. Then you got the number 22nd seed Humbert taking on Walton. Winner of that will take on either Kovacevic or a qualifier in the second round. Then we got another qualifier taking on Boyer. Winner of that match will take on either another qualifier or the 15th seed Rublev in the second round. A lot of qualifiers right down the bottom there for Rublev to possibly play. So very weird to see that. But of course, got to watch over Zverev, got to watch over Rublev as well. Definitely could go into the quarters and could make that far, but also kind of both needing a little bit of form. Also got to watch over Auger-Aliassime. Has been really good in America before and at the US Open specifically. Made a semi-final here not too long ago. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 9 seed Khachanov taking on Perseveredi in the first round. Winner of that will take on either Dillian or Majchak in the second round. Then we've got another qualifier taking on Martinez. Winner of that will take on the winner of Rinaldi and the number 19 seed Cerundolo in the second round. Then you got the number 26 seed Tsitsipas taking on Muller. Winner of that will take on either Altmaier or Medvedovic in the second round. Then you got Gaston versus a qualifier. Winner of that match will take on either O'Connell or the number 8 seed Demonor in the second round. So this is a fun section as well. It feels like a little bit open, but then again, there's one player in this section that's been playing really well lately. You got to watch over Demonor. Obviously played well here in the past and on hard courts in general. Of course, you got to watch over Khachanov. He's been in great form lately and really could play Zverev in the quarterfinals. They played a few times this year. And yeah, Khachanov been very, very good. Of course, you got to watch over Cerundolo and Tsitsipas. Lower ranked players at this point, especially Tsitsipas. But we know if they do start playing well, they could be very dangerous. Bottom half of the draw now, we've got the number 7 seed Djokovic. He takes on Tien in the first round. Very fun first round to see how Tien can play against the greatest player of all time. The winner of that match takes on a qualifier in the second round because we've got 2 qualifiers playing in that first round. Then you got Norrie taking on Korda. Winner of that will take on either Comesaña or the number 28 seed Mickelson in the second round. Then you got the number 17 seed Tiafoe taking on Nishioka. Winner of that will take on either a qualifier or Blanche in the second round. Then you got another qualifier taking on McDonald. Winner of that will take on either Van der Zandschulp or the number 11 seed Runa in the second round. Of course, you got to watch out for Djokovic. Really fun to see him play against Tien in that first round and see how Tien can manage against Djokovic. We have seen Tien get some big upsets, and this would be the greatest upset he's ever had. Also got to watch out for Rune. Very tough first round as well against Van de Zandschulp. If he can get through that, maybe he can play Djokovic in that fourth round. Also got to watch out for the Americans, Tiafoe, Mickelson. Both can be very good in America. We've seen Mickelson play really consistently well on hard courts throughout the last 12 months. And of course, Big Foe was coming off a semi-final here last year. So really interested to see how they go. But then some of the unseeded players. Of course, we spoke about Tien. Very, very dangerous against other top 10 players. Let's see how he does against Djokovic. Also, Van de Zandschulp, after what he did last year here against Alcaraz, he should not be overlooked. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 16 seed Mensik taking on Jarry in the first round. Winner of that match will take on either a qualifier or Marijan in the second round. Then you got Fonseca taking on Kecmanovic. Winner of that will take on either Nardi or the number 21 seed Mahatch in the second round. Then you got the number 30 seed Nakashima taking on a qualifier. Winner of that will take on either another qualifier or Quinn in the second round. Then you got Baez taking on another qualifier. Winner of that will take on either Nava or the number 4 seed Fritz in the second round. So this is fun. You know, Fritz is the defending champion, or the defending finalist, I should say. Of course, you got to watch out for Fritz in this one. Of course, you got to watch out for Mensik as well. We saw him win Miami 6 months ago now, but if he's healthy, he could be a real problem. Maybe this is the chance for him to finally break out at a slam. Of course, you got to watch out for Mahatch and Nakashima. Both can be very dangerous on hard courts and really could take out the higher ranked seeds. But you also got to watch out for Fonseca. He has played really well at slams over the last couple of months or couple of slams, so really keen to see how he does. And the draw's kind of open. If he can get through his first couple of matches, maybe Fonseca can make a fourth round and take on Fritz. Next part of the draw, we've got the number 6 seed Shelton. He takes on a qualifier in the first round. Winner of that will take on either Carreño Busta or a qualifier in the second round. Then you got Thompson taking on Mute. Winner of that will take on either Manarino or Grigspor, the number 29 seed in the second round. Then you got the 20th seed Lehechka taking on Coric. Winner of that will take on either Ugo Carabelli or Echeverry in the second round. Then you got Jerry taking on Colinon. Winner of that will take on either Ovna or the number 12 seed Rude in the second round. And this is going to be a fun draw. Of course, Shelton has been playing so well. Of course, you've got to watch out for Shelton. Let's see if he can continue that great form. He lost in Cincinnati to Zverev, but before that, he won in Canada. So he is on an all-time high at the moment. Watch out for Rude as well. Made a final here not that long ago. Also got to watch out for Lehechka. He's been very good at times as well on hard court. And, if he does beat Rude, could make the fourth round and really take Shelton on in that fourth round as well. But also be watching out for Carreño Busta as one of the unseeded players. We know how dangerous he's been. He's made the semis here before. And the bottom section of the draw, we've got the number 13 seed Medvedev. He takes on Bonzi in the first round. Winner of that match will take on either Navone or Giron in the second round. Then we've got Baena taking on Indanish. Winner of that will take on either Shevchenko or the number 18 seed for Keener in the second round. Then you got Didiri, the number 32 seed, taking on Hijikata. Winner of that will take on either Dostanic or Spaziri in the second round, the two American wildcards. Then you got Bellucci taking on Zhang. Winner of that will take on either Opelka or the number 2 seed Alcaraz in the second round. What a match for Alcaraz in the first round. Opelka with that serve in America, in New York. Jeez, that's going to be a rough one. Go watch for Alcaraz in this one. Trying to do better than last year, because last year he did have that crazy upset second round match against Van de Zandschulp. Also got to watch out for Medvedev. He also won this title not that long ago. Also got to watch out for Fokina. Has been really good at times this year, and unfortunately was injured in Cincinnati, but he did play well in Washington and almost won his first title there. So his confidence has got to be pretty high if his body can stay together. But it's the unseeded player Opelka. You got to watch out for him. He's so dangerous, and if he is serving well, there's an opportunity there against Alcaraz in that first round. Alcaraz's draw is not going to be easy, and he's going to have to play really well from the first match. So there it is. That is the draw for the men's side of things, and it's kind of fun. There's a fun first rounds, which we usually don't get on the men's side. We don't usually get too many great first round matches for the top guys. You got Tien Djokovic, you got Opelka versus Alcaraz, two very fun first rounds, and then Sinner versus Popyrin second round could be really fun. So it's going to be good to see some potentially really fun first couple of days on the men's side for a change at a Grand Slam. But let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think of the draw? Who do you think's going to win the draw and win the title? Because it doesn't feel like there's, both Sinner and Alcaraz and even Djokovic, throw him in there, they all have their challenges. It doesn't seem like there's anyone who's got an easy draw to start the tournament. Of course, things can change after the first couple of days. Some players lose, some players get easier draws because of that. So we'll see how it plays out. But there it is. That's the US Open draw, and it starts on Sunday.